Hey, horror fans across the USA! If you're craving that late-night adrenaline rush with a dash of Stars and Stripes terror, I've whipped up these killer titles. They're packed with American vibes. Think small-town secrets, urban nightmares, and that classic red, white, and boo. Perfect for your next campfire tale or Netflix binge idea. I've expanded each one with even more juicy details to ramp up the suspense, build that creepy atmosphere, and give you a taste of the plot twists that'll keep you hooked. We're talking extended synopses that dive deeper into the chills, the thrills, and the all-American haunts that make these stories pop now, pumped up with heart-pounding tension in every single line. Shadowy hints that make your pulse race, and edge-of-your-seat moments designed to grab your attention and never let go. Whether you're chilling in the suburbs or road tripping through the heartland, these will have you looking over your shoulder, second-guessing every creak in the floorboards, and feeling that icy grip of fear tightening with each word. Let's dive in and crank up the fear factor to maximum, where every sentence drips with anticipation and every detail builds toward a scream you can't escape. 1. Midnight in the Heartland. The cornfield curse deep in the rolling plains of Iowa, where the wind whispers secrets through endless golden stalks that seem to stretch into infinity. A hard-working Midwest farmer named Jack inherits his family's sprawling corn farm after a mysterious accident claims his parents' tires screeching in the dead of night, bodies twisted unnaturally amid the rows. At first, it's just odd whispers rustling through the corn at dusk, calling out names of long-lost relatives in eerie, childlike voices that echo closer with every gust, making Jack freeze in place, heart hammering as he strains to listen. But as harvest season approaches under a blood moon that casts long, jagged shadows, Jack starts finding ancient Native American artifacts buried in the soil-cursed relics etched with symbols that glow faintly in the dark, awakening something primal and vengeful that slithers unseen beneath the earth. The cornfields come alive at night, twisting into labyrinths that trap intruders with thorny vines that pulse like veins, coiling around ankles and pulling with relentless force, while distant screams pierced the silence, growing louder as if the fields themselves are hungry. Jack's neighbors vanish. One by one, their empty houses lit by flickering lanterns that snuff out suddenly, their final cries echoing across the flatlands, like a siren's call, drawing him deeper into the maze. Desperate, he uncovers the farm's bloody history in a hidden diary stained with what looks like dried blood, pages turning on their own in the wind, revealing rituals that bind the living to the soil forever. With the curse tightening its grip, shadows rising like sentinels from the stalks, Jack must race against the encroaching darkness before it claims him too, turning the American dream into a nightmare of endless, suffocating rows where every rustle could be the last sound you hear. 2. Bayou Blood Moon. In the steamy, alligator-infested swamps of Louisiana, where the air hangs thick with humidity and the faint hum of insects masks lurking dangers, the Thabito family gathers for what should be a joyous reunion at their old plantation house during a rare blood moon eclipse that paints the sky in ominous crimson hues. But as the crimson light bathes the murky waters, rippling like blood in the veins of the earth, Long-buried voodoo spirits stir from the depths, summoned by an ancestor's forgotten, packed with dark forces that now claw their way to the surface. Aunt Marie, the family's eccentric matriarch with eyes that seem to hold ancient secrets, starts exhibiting strange behaviors, speaking in tongues that echo unnaturally through the cypress trees, carving runes into the Spanish moss-strepped branches that drip with unseen moisture, her hands trembling as if guided by invisible strings. One by one, relatives are pulled into the bayou by invisible hands that emerge from the fog, their bodies resurfacing days later, marked with ritualistic symbols and drained of blood, eyes wide in eternal horror. The protagonist, a skeptical Yankee cousin from up north who scoffs at superstitions, must navigate the treacherous waterways under the watchful gaze of glowing alligator eyes, dodging snapping jaws and ghostly apparitions that whisper temptations in his ear, luring him towards submerged graves. With each paddle stroke, the suspense builds splashes in the distance, shadows flitting just out of sight until he uncovers a hidden altar pulsing with dark energy, the blood moon overhead seeming to pulse in rhythm. He races to break the curse before the moon sets, feeling the spirits, cold breath on his neck or join the eternal chorus of wailing souls haunting the fog-shrouded cypress groves, their pleas growing fainter as the water claims another victim.
3. Hollywood Hauntings. Lights, camera, possession fresh off the bus from the Midwest, where dreams of stardom flicker like distant stars. Young aspiring actress Emily lands a gig as an extra on a low-budget horror flick shooting in an abandoned Hollywood studio lot, rumored to be cursed since the golden age when screams echoed not just from scripts.
The ghosts of faded stars like forgotten silent film divas and blacklisted screenwriters begin to manifest.
First as flickering shadows in the mirrors of the dressing rooms that distorts reflections into grotesque masks, then as full-blown possessions that force the cast to reenact their tragic deaths on camera with chilling accuracy. Emily notices the director's eyes glazing over during takes, whispering lines from scripts that were never written, his voice overlapping with ethereal echoes that send shivers down her spine.
Props like old reel-to-reel projectors start playing footage of real murders from the past on their own.
The image is grainy and looping, drawing her closer with hypnotic pull.
As the body count rises crew members strangled by invisible nooses that tighten slowly or impaled on set pieces that move with malevolent intent.
She uncovers a demonic entity feeding on the fame-hungry souls of
Its presence announced by sudden drops in temperature and whispers promising eternal spotlight.
Racing against the premiere deadline, with lights flickering like warning signals and doors slamming shut behind her.
Emily must destroy the haunted film reels that burn to the touch before she's trapped in an eternal loop of celluloid terror, her screams becoming part of the soundtrack forever.
4. Roots 66 Revenants A.
Group of college buddies embarks on the ultimate American road trip along the historic Route 66. From Chicago to Santa Monica, blasting classic rock that drowns out the initial unease of vast, empty stretches.
But as they pass through dusty ghost towns and neon-lit diners in the Southwest under a sky that darkens unnaturally fast,
They pick up hitchhikers who aren't quite alive spectral figures from the Dust Bowl era.
Vietnam vets and prohibition gangsters, all demanding passage to unresolved destinations with voices that crackle like old radio static. The cause radio tunes itself to static-filled broadcasts of historical tragedies.
The voices pleading and accusatory, while mirages of fiery crashes block the road ahead.
Heat waves distorting into twisted metal and flames that feel all too real.
One friend starts seeing visions of their own future deaths in the rearview mirror, gruesome snapshots that flash.
With every glance building, a dread that makes every mile feel like a countdown.
Motels along the way trap them in time loops of endless check-ins, doors locking from the outside, clocks ticking backward as phantoms whisper forgotten sins.
As fuel runs low and the phantoms grow more aggressive.
Clawing at the windows with bony fingers that leave scratches on the glass. The survivors must confront America's forgotten histories, etched in blood on the roadside, or become permanent fixtures on the Mother Road's haunted asphalt, their car joining the wrecks that appear and vanish in the night.
4. Appalachian
Apparitions. The Hollows howl, nestled in the fog-shrouded hills of West Virginia.
Where mist clings like a shroud and ancient trees creaked with unspoken warnings. A remote mining town called Black Hollow harbors a beast born from the depths of collapsed shafts and exploited labor that now hungers for fresh prey. When urban explorer Sarah ventures into the abandoned mines for a viral YouTube video, flashlight beam trembling in her grip, she awakens the Hollow Howler, a shape-shifting entity blending mountain folklore with the vengeful spirits of trapped miners, its first growl rumbling through the tunnels like an earthquake.
The creature's howls echo through the valleys at night, mimicking the cries of loved ones to lure victims into the darkness.
Where it feasts on their fears before ripping them apart with claws that scrape against rock walls, drawing ever nearer.
Sarah's team disappears, one by one flashlights failing with the final flicker. Tunnels shifting like living veins that close and claustrophobically end. She pieces together clues from old journals.
stained with coal, dust, and blood, pages fluttering open to reveal sketches of the beast that seemed to move when unobserved.
With moonshiners and suspicious locals closing in, their eyes glinting with shared secrets.
And the howls growing personal, calling her name. She must seal the beast back in its lair.
Amid collapsing ceilings and grasping shadows.
Or join the chorus of apparitions forever wandering the misty Appalachian trails, their forms fading into the fog with one last desperate wail. 5. Sign City's spectral stakes under the glittering lights of Las Vegas, where fortunes flip in an instant and the night air buzzes with electric promise.
High roller casino mogul Victor checks into the opulent Mirage for a weekend of blackjack and big wins.
But the tables turn when undead gamblers from the strip's seedy past start rigging the games.
With cards that feel
Unnaturally cold.
ghosts of mobsters like Bugsy Siegel appear as translucent dealers, shuffling decks that bleed when touched.
Droplets pooling on the felt like omens, while slot machines spit out coins engraved with death dates that match the player's own. Victor's luck sours as he witnesses patrons possessed mid-spin.
Their eyes rolling back as they bet their souls in high-stakes poker with infernal entities whose laughter echoes.
Hollowly, through the smoke-filled room, digging into the hotel's history in a forbidden basement archive. Lights dimming as pages turn themselves, he uncovers a buried vault of cursed artifacts from old Vegas heists, fueling the spectral invasion with pulses of dark energy. As the neon signs flicker with ominous messages, all bets are off, and the roulette wheels spin out prophecies of doom that land on his number every time. Victim must go all in on a ritual to banish the ghosts. Chips stacking against him, or fold forever.
in the eternal casino of the damned.
His screams lost amid the chime of winning slots.
6. Suburban Shadows. The cul-de-sac killer in a seemingly idyllic suburb of suburban Ohio, complete with white picket fences that hide stains of something darker and manicured lawns that conceal buried secrets. The Johnson family moves into a dream home on Elmwood, only to discover a neighborly slasher who's been blending in for decades. His smile too wide under the streetlights. The killer strikes during block parties and barbecues, using everyday tools like hedge clippers that snip with deadly precision and lawnmowers that rev up unexpectedly, dispatching victims and leaving smiley face notes that read, "Welcome to the neighborhood," in what looks like fresh blood. Whispers from the vents reveal the house's dark secret. A previous owner who faked his death and now lurks in hidden crawl spaces, watching through peepholes that glint like eyes in the dark, his breath audible in quiet moments. As screams pierce the quiet nights, starting distant.
Then closer and boadies pile up in backyard sheds, with doors that creak open invitingly.
The protagonista knows he stayed home at rallies. The survivors, for a showdown amid flickering porch lights.
Plot twists reveal alliances among the residents, their friendly waves turning sinister.
Turning the cul-de-sac into a maze of betrayal where trust is the deadliest weapon. Every shadow, a potential blade. In this all-American tale of domestic dread that builds to a climax where no one is safe behind closed doors. 7. Yankee Doodle Dead on a sweltering 4th of July in historic Boston,
where fireworks light up the sky like exploding warnings and the air crackles with patriotic fervor masking deeper unrest.
Colonial-era ghosts rise from the Freedom Trail's cobblestone streets, seeking vengeance on descendants of their betrayers with forms that materialize from the smoke. Patriot spirits, twisted by centuries of unrest, possess parade goers one by one, forcing them to reenact the Boston Massacre with modern lethality sparklers, turning into flaming swords that sear flesh, floats crashing like revolutionary charges that crush bones. Young historian Alex,
Researching Paul Revere's ride in a dusty archive where candles gutter out mysteriously,
stumbles upon a cursed Liberty Bell that amplifies the hawk, causing redcoats to materialize in the common bayonets, gleaming under exploding skies with thrusts that draw real blood, as barbecues turn bloody grills, flaring up to consume the living and the Charles River runs red with reflections of spectral battles. Alex deciphers ancient spells hidden in the Declaration replicas, ink seeming to writhe on the page. But with each boom of fireworks, some anymore, their muskets cracking like thunder. He races against the dawn through fog-choked alleys, too.
Prevent a permanent Independence Day apocalypse, the ghost's whispers growing louder in his mind.
One big apple bites back beneath the bustling streets of New York City.
In the labyrinthine subway tunnels forgotten by time where echoes distort into mocking laughter.
Mutated horrors spawned from decades of urban and corruption emerged to hunt the unwary with tentacles that slither from grates. Tourist Jake, visiting from the Midwest, and already unnerved by the city's pulse, gets stranded after hours when his train derails into an abandoned line teeming with grotesque creatures.
rat-human hybrids with glowing eyes that pierce the darkness and tentacles born from toxic waste.
That wrap around limbs with crushing force.
Echoes of screams bounce off
Graffiti-covered walls, growing in volume as the beasts drag commuters into nests, lined with stolen wallets and bones that crunch underfoot.
Jake allies with a grizzled tunnel dweller who knows the lore of the underbite.
a primordial entity feeding on the city's underbelly. Its roars vibrating the tracks like approaching trains. Navigating flooded passages where water rises suspiciously fast and dodging collapsing ceilings that rain debris like judgment. They uncover a corporate cover-up that birthed the monsters. Documents floating in the murk, revealing experiments gone wrong. One wrong turn in the pitch-black maze, with claws scraping closer.
And Jake becomes just another statistic in the Big Apple's voracious maw. The city lights above, mocking his descent.
9. Texas chainsaw twilight out in the vast, dusty ranches of rural Texas. Under a perpetual blood-red sunset that stains the horizon like spilled life, the Harlan family runs a roadside barbecue joint that's anything but hospitable, serving up human flesh to unsuspecting travelers with smiles that don't reach their eyes.
When City Slicker Mia's car breaks down near their property amid a sudden dust storm that howls like tormented souls.
She's invited in for hospitality, only to discover chainsaws revving in the barn with a guttural roar and meat hooks dangling from the rafters that sway as if eager for weight. The Harlans, a clan of cannibals descended from frontier outlaws, chase her through thorny mesquite fields where branches snag like fingers, their masks sewn from victim skin flapping in the wind with wet slaps. Flashbacks reveal a drought-cursed history that drove them to madness, with spectral cowboys joining the hunt on ghostly steeds that gallop silently, lassos whipping through the air. Mia fights back with improvised weapons like oil rigs that gush black ichor and cattle brands that sizzle on flesh, uncovering a hidden well of bones that could break the family's eternal hunger, skulls grinning up from the depths. As stars twinkle like watchful eyes overhead and the chainsaws grow louder in pursuit, she must escape the twilight's grasp before becoming the main course in this Lone Star slaughterfest, every step kicking up dust that chokes the air with dread. There ya go, patriots of the paranormal. I've beefed up these titles with even richer synopses, adding layers of plot, character backstories, and atmospheric details to make each one feel like a mini trailer for a blockbuster.
Now expanded further with suspense dripping from every line, thrilling twists that build relentlessly, and attention-grabbing hooks that pull you in deeper.
This pumps the word count way up, giving you more meat to chew on while keeping that raw, unfiltered American horror essence intact, ensuring every moment keeps you on the edge, heart racing for the next reveal.
If you want full story,
Expansions on specific ones, or even more titles to fuel your fright nights, just holler. Stay spooky, y'all.